Of course, DX Racer, these comfortable chairs we're sitting in here. Battle Beaver Customs, which is the official controller of this event. Of course, Matcherino.com, like we listed off before. Razor Arena, and then, of course, we cannot forget Money Matches, and we do have a awesome sponsor that we want to talk about exclusively as well.
I mean, Da Vinci, they have these awesome drinks here, and they want to be called the smart drink because they are
it's not
the
an
smart
energy drink.
It's not an energy drink. It's not, down low. It's the next level up. It's the next stuff.
Honestly, it's a very inspirational. It's a very motivational company. You watch some of their commercials that we've been airing. Their tagline is "Be inspired."
That's what I was going to tell people, to be inspired.
So I mean, I drink it and then I'm just ready to do stuff.
It's perfect.
Yeah, gets me going. All right, guys, so that's going to do it so far for some of our shout-outs. Of course, all the guys here at UGC putting on a phenomenal production so far in this one. And also, just a heads up.
Dancing, a little case up there, doing a little jig.
Also, just a heads up for everybody at home, if you're wanting to get the same experience that all of our spectators and fans are getting here in the venue today, we do have a multi-Twitch link at the bottom of the page as well, so you can get, of course, the camera on us as well as the crowd, multicam that they're getting for their point of view. So just a heads up there as well. So going into this one, Trey, we do have two teams here, again, fighting for that open bracket money. Let's talk about these two rosters. Obviously, on one side, some very reputable and noticeable names.
Absolutely. I mean, you got Stress, Case, Nebula, and Sprawl. Nebula sort of came into the scene with this new game. Stress has been around for a while. Case has been around for a while. Case was a professional player for a while there in Halo Reach. Mm-hmm. So he's been gaming for many years, and so he's going to be their sort of veteran player on this team. And, they've been looking strong throughout the winners bracket. Then you got on the other team, you got all these new faces. I like all these new players just because, you're starting to see new amateur talent coming out of the mix and, wrecking it in the winners bracket. They're not, they're still going. They're still at the top of their game right now. You got Will is Sick, Eli Elite, Jam I Am, and they're just going strong.
Absolutely, and closing out that one, of course, is most damage dealt. Now, these guys obviously looking to make a statement here in this tournament. We talked about it early on in winners 1 and 2, saying, hey, this would be the way to do it. Obviously, with Vegas coming up and the HCS season finals, a lot of exciting Halo to be had for the rest of the season. But now these guys finally getting a chance to open this one up so far. Looks like our first game is going to be Empire Strongholds. Right now, we're just currently waiting for our teams to get started here in this one. Taking a look at our set of rounds here. Losers round 7. Winner's going to go on to play up against Panda to get that first top spot in the open bracket. So Empire Strongholds, Coliseum Slayer, Truth Capture the Flag, and then of course, if we have to get to that point, we'll see the Rig, Strongholds, and Eden Slayer. Eden Slayer, these Game 5s on Eden Slayer have been really exciting. We've been seeing a decent amount of Game 5s in the Halo scene.
And give me a little bit of your prediction. What do you think? What do you think going into this series? You think the more veteran roster of Solstice is going to be able to take down the sort of young gun talent, or you think the young gun talent is just going to trump them with all the skill?
I've seen a lot of things out of. Obviously, I'm very familiar with the players on Solstice, and not as familiar with the players over on Scion, but I've seen a lot of hype from the tournament so far. Nighty Night has been tweeting a lot about Scion. A lot of hype there, but nonetheless, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into this one. We're going to start things off with Nebula, the last-minute pickup for Team Solstice.
And I'd say that's a pretty good pickup, honestly, because this player has been extremely smart and he's been grinding a lot. He's one of those guys that's always caught in the playlist, just nonstop playing, nonstop practicing. And that is a beautiful play right off the start, just getting the back smack on the overshield guy. They're able to secure a pit, and that's a trip cap right off the start. He's going to be extremely aggressive on this red base. He's going to try to stay alive, put some shots, gets a melee, doesn't quite clean up that kill, but gets taken down.
And see, it's just one of those things, too. Quick start sometimes. Being able to get that overshield might not necessarily be the best play to kind of spin your back to the enemy player. But hey, not here to judge him for that reason. We're here to watch some Halo. Stress with that saw in the back pocket is going to find 2 players from the enemy team, though. He does get taken out. Eli Elite will hop on board with this guy. Another fresh face here in the Halo community to see if he can show off here in his debut, as he does spot a few players there in that blue courtyard. trying to take them out, but he does have a few players in front of him.
And it looks like this this Scion team is doing pretty well at shutting down Solstice when they got the trip cap. And Solstice seems to be sort of moving around the map in an extremely aggressive fashion. I would say as a recommendation to them, just slow it down and try to remain confident in your skills. Don't be overly aggressive, just to make sure that when you have a trip cap like that, you can really take advantage by not putting yourself in a bad position. Continuing to work together and holding the map down. They could have had a huge lead right off the start, but they sort of gave it to Scion.
And one thing that I believe it was Stress was talking to us about early on in the tournament was saying that Sprawl and Nebula were such a good pickup. They weren't quite expecting the immediate success that they had, but it seems to be working out so far. So good for them. But in this one, actually trailing a little bit to Scion Esports. We're going to stay on board with Case here as he's able to secure that red base and now working his way into pit.
And he gets taken down there again. I see a lot of players sort of just jumping in that pit, trying to cause a distraction. You see on Nebula's screen, there's 2 X's on his team, both going down, and they're just trying to stay alive in pit. They seem to be sort of scrapping together, trying to get this pit bottom in, and he gets taken down by the OS. They completely forgot about that OS as a team. If they have a coach or their coach is not timing things, he needs to get on that right now.
Right, exactly. That Overshield guy was actually taken out almost right away, though. Double kill going down there for Sprawls. He's got an enemy player in front of him just doing his best to stay alive. Now, it's going to be Team Solstice flipping things around just a little bit. Right as I say that, Scion answering right back. This Scion Esports team performing really well so far in this one. A very aggressive game type. We've seen a lot of double kills so far here in the pit. Most damage dealt, going to be working his way, chopping away at that pit. And that's going to flip yet again. So 37 to 18 as he does spot another player in blue courtyard. He's going to get taken out.
And he almost completely embarrassed that kid with the assault rifle. He was one shot, and the kid just missed a couple shots. Now we're on board with Stress in the pit. He's trying to defend it as well as he possibly can. Gets a kill. That is huge for his team. That's what they need to be able to secure the next part of this game.
And look, I get 3 members down now again for Team Solstice as Case charges the pit hill. Might not necessarily be the best play there when you got 3 teammates dead. You can't charge the middle pit hill like that. I know a lot of commentators, Walsh was talking about it yesterday, how the pit here on Empire might be one of the more challenging strongholds to just withhold in the entire game. We're watching Just As I Am, or Jam I Am rather, getting taken out there. A lot of kills going down in the pit yet again. 47 to 24. It's now Solstice in the driver's seat.
And watching the most damage dealt, I've seen him in the playlist a lot grinding this game too. He seems to be the most consistent shot on this squad. He doesn't seem to be very nervous when you watch his perspective, and he stays calm throughout the entire game.
Jam I Am working on it. 48 to 29. Solstice able to maintain 2 of those strongholds. We've seen a lot of very close strongholds games so far here on Saturday, and not changing at all so far as Jam I Am was actually just taken out. Nebula. It's been the Nebula story. He's been slaying left and right. Let's see if he can stay alive. That Spartan charge is going to be good enough for a double assist there for Nebula. So good teamwork out of Team Solstice so far, and so far Nebula and Sprawl definitely showing up to play. Even that last-minute pickup can just go to show it's so important. And there is the P-Shooter. That's going to take that armor off of that Overshield player there. So good stuff out of Nebula.
And that's a huge play by him just to be able to take off that OS of that Scion player. But once again, that is the 3rd OS that Scion has gotten as a team. So they are on these power weapons. And that might be a big reason why they have a lead in this game right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But Team Solstice with some quick responses to those overshields haven't been too big of a factor, but like you said, Trey, moving forward, definitely going to be a big part of that. So with Radar, you get this little crouch walk with
do a little dance walk.
Trying to stay alive, do a little dance.
Make me love.
Finds another blue player, is going to spot him and actually going to take him out. So good close quarters fighting here from Case, but he's going to go down. Hopping back on board with Nebula. It's 52 to 52. It's been Scion's able to fight back just a little bit, so very close game so far in this one, Trey.
And they might be able to secure this red base here. It looks like he's going to be able to pick up this base and possibly defend pit. He catches a player front red, can't quite clean up the kill, and they're not going to be able to secure pit right there.
That was not good stuff. He didn't end up picking up the kill. Elite able to stay alive. His teammate also behind him as well. So locking down blue base shouldn't be too hard to maintain this. You got the outside push happening. Easy back smack there for Elite. Now really good teamwork is going to end in total control here for Scion Esports. 65 to 53 as they're picking up the heat. Finding another player here at mid turbine. He's finally going to go down. very impressive play out of this Scion roster. You know, I talked about it. There's been a lot of hype from them so far internally in this tournament. We haven't heard too much from these names, but man, their teamwork is really, really good.
And if they want to capitalize on the rest of this game, all they need to do is just really stay around the pit area of the map. It's going to be a really easy focal point for them to be able to get a lot of kills. And you see all 3 members of Scion go down right there. You have Willisik with that kill, trying to stay alive in pit, and he's the last one on his team to be able to possibly defend this. They lose 2 of the hills, but he's able to stay alive and secure this bottom hill, trying to get a double kill, almost cleans it up and does not.
And you know, one thing I do want to point out with Will right there is we've seen a lot of situations with 3 dead. Here's another one. Most damage dealt. He's the last player alive for his team. Notice what he does not do. He's not charging the pit. He's not overextending and trying to find a fight. He's staying alive and just getting the easy secure at red base. Now his teammates are pushing out. The reason why that's so big, we've seen Team Solstice in those 3 dead situations as well, but we also watched as they pushed out a lot and lose control. So a big reason why we've seen you know, Scion in the driver's seat here is just their ability to slow it down and take advantage of those number situations. Here is another example here. So good stuff so far for them. Only 11 points away. Solstice, they are going to be working back and trying to get back into this game.
And this is a scrappy move on Scion's part right there. They need to all, if they're going to go for pit, they need to all go for pit together and secure it. They can't seem to clean up this last kill. They were able to secure the pit, and that is huge.
10 more points is all it's going to take for Scion, is now able to secure that pit and lock it down. Jam-I-Am, with the help of his teammates, able to take them out. The teamwork has been phenomenal. I haven't seen a single player on this team fighting by themselves. It's exactly what you have to do. Halo 5 is such a team-oriented game. As you see Jam-I-Am getting some shots across the map, not able to connect as a few members go down. This would be a big stand here for most damage dealt. Finding a double kill. Can he get the triple? Not going to be there, but I don't know if that's going to be enough time. It is just barely enough time to go ahead and secure the pit, but now it's going back over as they're trying to fight their way to stay in this game here. Team Solstice case dropping and defeat. There it is, Scion Esports with a very impressive game number 1.
And you hear the trash talk coming out of Scion a little bit, just trying to give them some hype. They're going into this next game hot, and if they can stay on top, they're going to be able to close out this series 3-0, extremely quick sweep. You saw a lot of teamwork out of that Scion team. I was actually surprised with that. You don't see a lot of that coming out of the amateur bracket. That means these players have been playing together a lot. This is not just a throw-together team, and I know for a fact that I've heard a lot of great things about Eli Elite, and I've seen most damage dealt in the playlist nonstop. So I definitely know both those players are going to be gaming a lot.
16, 20, and 14 for Jam-I-Am. Very impressive numbers from him as we've taken a look at the stats. But guys, wow. Kind of surprised, only because I haven't seen it myself, but now I have. Scion Esports, a very impressive map number 1 victory there. So, I mean, just based from that, we kind of talked about it all tournament long. That's kind of been the storyline for most open or most, you know, amateur events, I guess you could say, is, you know, a lot of these players stepping up new to the scene. You know, how can they make their names heard? That'd be one way, dropping 20 assists.
That's what, yeah, I wanted to talk about that just for a second, because you don't see a lot of teamwork come out of these new players. And, you know, props, dude. A little congratulations in order, because if you keep that up for the rest of the series, it's going to be, you're going to go into your next match just as strong.
Well, your Strongholds games in general are statement games for sure, especially for it to be a map number 1. So big victory here for Scion Esports so far in this one. Taking a look at the guys from Team Solstice. Little defeated maybe, but you see Stress. He's a very energy, you know, very energy-leveled guy there at the end and far left. Just wants to win. Case the Brit, obviously. A guy who burst onto the scene early on in Halo 3. He had a big, I think it was an 18th place finish with some of the guys from across the seas, and they just, ever since then, his career has been just phenomenal.
He's always been sort of performing at the top, coming out of the amateur bracket, and been able to compete against pro teams. He's always sort of grabbing new young talent. I remember when he, one of his big placings in Halo Reach was with Pre-Devinator, who's now one of the top professionals on Team Allegiance. So he's always seeming to pick up these new young gun players, and he might be doing that right here.
He's showing it off. Sprawl and Nebula needing to step up so far in this one for their team. And on the other side, Scion Esports.
All smiles.
All smiles.
All smiles.
Absolutely.
That's what I want to see.
big victory there. You definitely want to bring the intensity. You want to stay on top there.